Well, King, we
No.
fucking went all in, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And here we stand just after the fallout that was AEW Dynamite as we prepare to go all out. Let's talk about it. Hello, folks. Surprise, out of nowhere as I do. Hi, guys. Welcome to a simple impromptu out of nowhere. We are ATW, of course. You know what this is. I am the simple man. I am, of course, with the king, King, King A-Train. We have been all elite AEW fans since day zero, but we're also proprietors, lovers, followers, and takers in of all things wrestling. And of course, shout out to the entire ATW family on the Twitter and social media platforms, including that limit to our inquirer, Eric Brown, our enforcer, Lex, our separation man, Casey Flynn, our queen across the pond, Megan Chiba, K. American, to prove that Jade's worth more than gold. Of course, we got Jose, we got Josh. I know I'm missing names. I'm so sorry if I missed anyone's name. And of course, everybody else that's a member of the family, JD, Party Guy, Colin, Joseph, you know who you guys are. Again, we are ATW for life. Truly as simple as that. And shout, of course, to SC, of course, Indy Darling. That being said, again, King, woofa, my effing goofa. What a freaking pay-per-view all in London was. So I thought it'd be fun that we simply talk about, reflect on it, maybe give some of our favorite moments, do a quick run through. And then maybe after we just saw the Nines, we're coming off Dynamite. We're doing this 10:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, August 28th. Maybe we could talk about the hell's ahead at All Out and what might be to come for this company after who we saw return and what was said tonight. But that being said, before I get into it, I've said enough as far as the intros go. How you doing, bro?
After that Dynamite, bro, it's safe to say that we are continuing a road to All Out. But from what we saw at All In, I like to call that a 6-hour spectacle at its finest in the cathedral that is Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and I think cathedral is definitely the proper term because that was a gospel of professional wrestling, a sanctuary more appropriately, that we witnessed across the board. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and do a quick little rundown. 2-hour pre-show, of course, had a great 10-man all-star tab. We had the Von Erichs, we had the Rhodes, Sammy Guevara teaming together to take on the Cage of Agony and the Undisputed Kingdom, successfully winning. We had Stokely Halfway being destroyed by the Stone Cold Ishii. Yay. As Willow Nightingale and Ishii were able to beat Chris Statler and Stokely Halfway, and of course, pick the stipulation we'll talk about here a little later as we learned on Dynamite for the CMLL Women's World Championship match that will happen at All Out. And before we went into the actual show, there was a hostile takeover in play by the Knight family, also known as Saraya and Kind. For once, not fighting with her family, but literally tagging alongside her family. And they all got a taste of some long overdue haterade because Jimmy Hater returned and ran a rep shot through them. And Saraya protected her neck by running away. Can't say I don't blame her one bit. And of course, as we go into the actual show, again, things were just off and running the entire time. We'll go ahead and run through the results. Okay, then we'll talk about some of our favorite matches and favorite moments. We, of course, kicked things off in chaotic fashion with human car wreck style. London ladder match. What's that, an air conditioner? London ladder match is the patriarchy defended the gold against the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and the team that won the wild card collision of Cloud Casanole, Pac, and Lila Yuta. We also, of course, had following this, in no particular order, the glamour. Mariah May having her show featured presentation, easy for me to say, the final act of the Timeless Era as we knew it, it's seen, against Timeless Tony Storm in Wembley Stadium for the AEW Women's World Championship, where love conquered all, or was it hate at the end of the day? You tell me. Or should I say, decided it all. We also, of course, had, hi guys, cricket balls hurt, and so does the cricket bat, as Hook took on Chris Jericho for the For the World Championship. The gatekeepers of the tag team division defended the gold as FTR looked to become 3-time tag team champions against the Young Bucks, and the Acclaim says that the Young Bucks and FTR are straight up virgins. Okay, damn, jeez, fuck. That was weird. This Casino Gauntlet match was one of a kind to remember with incredible appearances and somebody coming back to the business I never thought I'd see back inside a wrestling ring again, and then was stolen by an unworthy winner, in my opinion. Fuck that false father figure. And then, of course, arguably match of the night, you can say at least for 2 or 3 matches, the All Elite Bruv with the UK on his side, an international pride, took on our scumbag, the AEW American champion, MJF, in what truly was a match to remember. And truly, it does show Will Ospreay is an assassin as he fights, comes out from the shadows, and comes to the light. That was so fucking awesome. I love that so damn much. We also had a coffin match, of course, at the Scapegoat Jeff Perry challenged Darby Allin in his ace in the hole, and one person went RIP and nearly went up in flames. Jesus. We also had cute corgis and somebody coming in, and she was the Queen of London. Mercedes Monet defended the CBS Championship, the CEO, against Dr. Britt Baker, the MD. Don't forget. Started off slow, but things picked up later on. And of course, in our main event, known as the Final Countdown, it was Swerve Strickland who defended his legacy and the AEW World Championship against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, looking to end a career and hurt a father. And to your point, again, as we talked about that 6-hour sanctuary professional wrestling, good God Almighty, what a show. Let me just go ahead and say it because I don't rate, but I do simply endorse what I love when it gives me the highest degree of absolute happiness. And to say I haven't felt this happy in a long time would be an understatement as I watch all things wrestling. But this show right here is my show of the year so far. So let me go ahead and say it. That was professional wrestling. That's greatness. Damn it. Anyway, that being said, simply put, King, what's your simple take away from All In to, once again, from London, England? And cheers to that country and this company. How'd you enjoy the show, bro?
Night and day difference of what it was last year. Last year it was basically, let's get our feet wet. Let's make this if we can make this like our version of a Wrestle Kingdom, our version of a WrestleMania. That was like the first phase of that. Like it was a good pay per view, but it wasn't like great or anything. But it was still a good pay per view, great pay per view, no regardless. Not like one of my favorites or nothing like that last year. This year, oh my goodness. Blew last year out of the water like it was night and day difference. Now, granted, I almost missed the 0 hour because I almost overslept. Now I see what the European fans be going through when it comes to our time, like our time pay per views, and they're a different time zone than us. So I get their pain and they're what from what they're coming from to a standpoint. But nonetheless, this was one of the best, if not make it top three for me. Top three pay per views of AEW, let alone professional wrestling. As you know, there was some funny moments like Stokely Hathaway doing a spine buster to Ishii and then doing a Triple H
I
pose
can't believe it.
like he was the game or something. Okay, the game Stokely Hathaway, I guess. But Ishii
Yeah.
dropped that boy like a bad habit.
Right.
Um, give me Leo Rush and Satnam Singh TK. I'm just playing. Don't do that. Don't do that
Are
way.
you trying to give us TSD?
Don't do that way. No, just save that for whenever you want to do a fun spot. That was actually a fun spot right there. Do it again if you want to, but save that for another
Okay,
fun
I'll give you
spot.
that.
But Katsuyori Von Erich. That it's not Shibata, it's Katsuyori Von Erich when it comes to him teaming up with the Von Erichs and Dustin and Sammy. Because every time I see Shibata with them darn Von Erichs, he always has to instill the call to where I don't gotta call him Katsuyori Shibata. He's Katsuyori Von Erich.
Right.
But three matches, like the top three matches for me was Swerve and Danielson, MJF and Osprey, and of course, this is the last time I'm going to say this too. Timeless
Hmm.
cinema it was with Mariah May and Tony Storm.
So that being said, when we talk a little bit more about it, I think it's only fitting that we're going to challenge ourselves here and talk about our favorite top two moments and also our overall top two matches of the night. Because I think we are going to juggle between the men and the women. I think we're going to look at the championships. We're going to look at the returns. But just to give you folks an idea of what sort of things did happen in this phenomenal pay-per-view, as that was the full card here. We had Jamie Hayter return. Bryan Danielson won the AEW World Championship. The glamour has arrived in bloody fashion, unless you watch Dynamite tonight. We also had Ricochet arrive. Sting return. Nigel fucking McGuinness. What the fuck?
That
Zack
caught me off
Sabre.
guard.
That was the biggest thing that caught me off guard that entire night. I'm still just going like, Is he still wrestling more? Is he still wrestling more? I might go to actually see him face Bryan Danielson. Is he actually wrestling more, please? We also, of course, had Zack Sabre Jr. show up at the Casino Gauntlet and the wild card. I can't remember the last time a wild card won. Pac, Claudio Castagnoli, and freaking Wheeler Yuta are the new AEW Trio champions.
The
And that's
Pockpole Combat Club.
you're right. You want to call it that. But yeah, so simply put, the pre-show was a lot of fun, but obviously the moment for me, I'm a hater. Jamie Hayter returning and obviously looking to take Soraya's heads off. Sorry, Noah. And I think, yeah, Soraya, protect your neck because Hater Raid is looking for you. And if it hits, you very well might be back on the injury reserve. But also, as I look here, we'll go juggle back and forth maybe here with a couple of our moments and stuff because we can talk about the Casino Gauntlet in itself. So, fudge, let's start with that. Because the way I see it, the Casino Gauntlet, not only was it the only match on the main card not considering a title, but with title implications, this was a whole lot of damn fun. I mean, we started off with Orange Cassidy and Kazuchika Okada for the first time ever one-on-one encounter. And of course, you got to give the people what they want. We had a hug. Sick. Typical Okada-san, corporate Okada, greatest thing in this business. Don't at me. And then things picked up from there with conglomeration members coming in, but not before the very third person was UK's own British royalty, Professor Rose, to be perfectly honest, the former Ring of Honor Pure World Champion, Nigel fucking McGuinness. And it didn't look like he lost a single step since we last saw him, I think, since 2011 or 12 in TNA, and then a couple of independent matches before that, before he became commentator for the UK brand at WWE and the best color commentator in the business. Don't at me.
Mm-hmm.
But man, did he hold up in this match or what, including against the likes of Kyle O'Reilly, Zack Sabre Jr., Orange Cassidy, only to be spared by Christian Cage. Damn it. And at one point, I thought he won with the Tower of London, which, again, if y'all saw our watch on, please go follow that. Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz. Again, we had an incredible time, me, Walter, and James. Shout out to Bidgie, was part of the pre-show, too. This Casino Gauntlet, the third one in the company's history, man. It was, again, it was the best they give so far, even though the finish makes you go, What's your thoughts on this Casino Gauntlet and the surprises that show up in and out of the UK and AEW?
This might argue with some people, but I don't care. The Casino Gauntlet match is better than the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I said it.
That's
Because when was the last time that you get excited for a men's type of Royal Rumble? When was the last time?
well, to play devil's advocate, as a whole, as at least a third of the field, yay. But then it lacks. Same thing with the women. But I argue, though, that this was probably the best Royal Rumble this year that we've seen since fracking early 2000s. But continue.
But what I'm saying is that this Casino Gauntlet match was very entertaining. You didn't know who was coming out. Like we knew was that Orange Cassidy was the first participant in the Casino Gauntlet, and then here came Okada at the number 2 spot, and of course former Chaos members hugging it out until Okada, be like you said, being corporate Okada, and then that went downhill from there. And then Nigel being the biggest shock of the night, like let's call it what is the biggest shock of the night. Like we've heard rumors, we've heard reports saying of Nigel getting back in the ring or him getting staying in shape, but we didn't know for what for. Like we heard teases of him still going at Brian, and of course there's All in London leading up to it, but still with the teases of him and Bryan Danielson, and then all of a sudden number 3 spot, here comes Nigel McGuinness. Like what in the world is happening here in London?
They went all in.
Exactly, and then I wasn't expecting Zack Sabre Jr., who's fresh off days off, winning the G1 and was just at Rev Pro. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
Dominic Dijakovic or Michael Oku, not Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr. But my thing is that why is Jeff Jarrett still getting cheered in the UK? Like I can understand Carter for one day, and I get that, but daggone the UK, I guess they can't get enough of Jeff Jarrett.
Hey, Jeff Jarrett is a legend of this business. I will give credit and credit due and respect shown after burying the hatchet of a 25-year looming cloud. It felt like we got closure with the passing of the late great Owen Hart. God bless him, God rest his soul. And also, he made sure that him and Adam Page didn't ruin the Owen and also injure Bryan Danielson. Not to mention, that argument was one of the best kabongs he's ever done with a guitar to Heyman Adam Page's head. So Jeff Jarrett, he great. Continue.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But the one wrestler who got, I felt like his true moveset unlocked, that I felt has been watered down for the past few years, in one night showed us that he is the one and the only, and also a king at that. Talking about Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet is all elite. He arrived, and boy, he and Heyman Adam Page had quite an exchange. First time I ever won an exchange with those two, and also we had teasers of Heyman Adam Page and Kazuchika Okada. I still need Buckshot Larry versus Rainmaker at some point, Tony Khan. Just saying, book the match. We also had Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness challenge each other's Tekkas. That was a fun spot. Kyle O'Reilly and Nigel McGuinness as well. We had a conglomeration at one point, owning the ring before Heyman showed up, and Rex Shaw was that wide-eye cowboy usually does. And again, Nigel McGuinness was able to prevent a doomsday device and turn it into a Tower of London against the conglomeration. Of course, talking about Mark Briscoe. And Zack Sabre Jr., to be fair, no stranger to AEW. He, of course, fares Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. He's gone to Orange Cassidy's respect. He's gone to Kyle O'Reilly's respect to face him one-on-one. They even hold the ropes open for him, but Zack Sabre Jr. is like, nah, dickheads. So Zack Sabre Jr. is still incredible. No love lost with Okada after British insulting him and trapping his legs and wrenching back, which I thought was a nice throwback spot, but clearly not the same Okada Zack Sabre Jr. once faced. But yeah, Ricochet, he came in literally shooting like a star, quite literally, off the top rope at one point, shooting star, because of course, for those that don't know, Casino Gauntlet match ends via first pinfall or submission inside the ring as people keep coming out, anywhere from 2 to 21, and it really was a lot of fun, and you could really say that a lot of people were this close to claiming that guaranteed AEW world title shot. But as we saw, we got worked again. He outworked everyone. Fucking Christian Cage and Luchasaurus kill switch, pull a ruse, and Christian Cage, one in the end, has a guaranteed AEW World Championship shot. What a farce.
I thought that night that Luchasaurus had a brain, but apparently that brain is still not there.
About to say, this guy's supposed to have a master's degree. You sure as hell ain't using it. Damn it, you really are the Tonko of this generation. What? I said what I said. Anyway, now we know Christian Cage is guaranteed AEW World Title opportunity. It's just a matter of when and against who. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about Dynamite. So, yeah, as we just talked about the only non-title match in this show, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other matches. King, what was the two most prolific matches of the night for you to take away from All in London? And which one you want to start with?
Tony and Mariah, because that was the one that got me to where it was like, yeah, we were going to make cinema. Like Ben said, we were going to make cinema, and cinema was made that night. As in, we had the love story, and then we had the one-on-one confrontation to start out the match before the bell even rang, and then Tony was just staring Mariah down, and it was like, how could you do this to me? And then just slugging exchange after exchange. But how in the world can you slap your own mother?
I realized that was actually her mother she slapped. That's fucked up.
Like,
Man.
I understand that you want, this is a championship match and the stakes are high, the feelings are all-time high, but you don't have to slap your own mother because of your own agenda.
That ain't right. I don't care what anyone tells me. That was just not right. That's messed the F up. Jesus. And I'm just glad she's okay because, man, like James said, I thought she concussed her with how hard she slapped her. But Thomas Toy Storm, who, of course, went to Mariah May's mother's bosom and literally had her, clutch to make sure she was okay. That was a timeless moment. Also, shout out to Lou for the butler to return. But as you said, as JJ says, everyone has said that as a professional wrestling fan, this was truly pure cinema. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. The best women's championship match I have seen in a long effing time, and the best women's championship match I have seen this month. As somebody that watches all things wrestling, I look at Stardom and now how Oedo Tai owns everything, now called hate. Damn it. I look at Jordan Grace, who was able to defy Ash by elegance at Slammiversary. I look at Forbidden Door, the last time we saw Thomas Toy Storm defend this title against Mina Shirakawa, and there was a three-way lip lock at the end that James and you and everybody lost their damn minds over as Mina was watching high on from the audience next to Rachel Ellering. By the way, congrats to Mina Shirakawa, the new Rev Pro Undisputed Women's British Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to her. Yay. Beating Danny Luna. Stone Culture. But yeah, I mean, this match, it was emotional and volatile from the bell when it came to both women coming in and the over-the-top showcases. But of course, Thomas Toy Storm, she was welcome in as a star, but Mariah May was pretty much not even thought about. And when apparently Thomas Toy Storm is 100 years old, according to that graphic that was kind of 1924. I know what you did there. But yeah, I mean, literally insulting Luber, saying, fuck you, trying to instigate the Butler to get involved for whatever reason, slapping her own mother, and then triggering Timeless Tony Storm to the point Mariah May, for the first time in her AEW career, shed red after getting Storm Zero on the steel ring steps. Things only escalated from there when they went back inside the ring, and it was literally a war of emotions. At one point, both women were jockeying for position, and Mariah May was literally using pages out of Tony Storm's playbook, including the hip attack 3 times almost, and then got her head taken off with a lariat. We thought that Thomas Tony Storm won, and I was going to be absolutely shocked. 2 and 9 attempts off the Storm Zero. Mariah May, who used Mayday, the Michinoku driver, spin out Michinoku driver, also near fall. At one point, these two, let's just call it what it is, these Hellcats that were looking to rip each other's head off, and you prepared to die because I am, the most bloody, violent, physical romance we've ever seen with 2 women in a ring. They kicked each other in the V and headbutt each other into freaking unconsciousness. And yes, I just said that out loud. They kicked each other in. And you know what that means? And I'm not wrong. I'm just saying. Damn, they both were on point. As Mariah May, am I wrong?
You're not.
There you go. Thank you. As Mariah May went to go grab the title, Luther, who was able to find his way after that ridiculous drop kick, was able to grab the belt and one defiant statement after Mariah May already defied herself off the Storm Zero, holding out this finger that Thomas Toy Storm grabbed while trying to break it, while Mariah May was slapping the taste out of her mouth. In the end, though, King, it truly was a story about love. How much do you love something that when it betrays you, are you willing to kill it? Are you prepared to die? Because I am. And apparently Thomas Toy Storm was. Mariah May clearly knew that Thomas Toy Storm wasn't able or wasn't willing to kill her as she grabbed the very shoe that escalated this in the first place. She didn't use it, even though it wouldn't matter. She would have kept the title. And she was like, no, I love you. Went for the Storm Zero. Mariah May countered. We got a knee strike back of the head, followed knee strike to the front, and another emphatic Storm Zero. And ladies and gentlemen, the era of the glamour has officially been ushered in. The timeless era is over as the final curtain call has happened. End scene. As, of course, the glamour Mariah May left what she wanted to, and that was not Timeless Toy Storm's spot, not her stardom, but the AEW Women's World Championship. And Thomas Toy Storm left with a standing ovation, given one last show for the road, as she, for all we know, is still 2-step Charlestoning through the streets of London with Luva the Butler following. But you also brought a very interesting point, the smile. Was it a smile of absolute happiness where she thanked us all for embracing her in her grandest performance? Was she happy what her protege did, even though she may have created a monster? Was she delusional with the fact that she got knocked the F out with a knee strike to the back of the head and the front? I mean, when you're timeless and you lose, what do you become then? It was illustrious to timeless. But now what? We haven't seen or heard anything from her since. But again, the most beautifully executed, presented story and emotionally driven women's championship match I have seen arguably this year. And that's saying a lot for women's wrestling.
I ain't got nothing else to add to that, bro. You pretty much said it all. Really, that was the best women's wrestling match of 2024.
Arguably.
Don't
I
care if
mean,
you are don't care if you argue with me or not.
and we're wrestling fans who are truly passionate about this business, have our own opinions, and if the world doesn't figure out by now, you don't need to attack somebody from a different opinion than you. get out of the freaking internet wrestling community, whatever the fuck you want to call this shit. Don't be a social media Twitter twat. Go touch grass and find something more important to do with your life than trying to criticize somebody. What you know at the end of the day, you're still a fucking idiot for doing it in the first place, too. But thank you. This has been a public service announcement courtesy of the Simple Man. All right. Well, that being said, again, bravo. So, me. Now it's me. It's me. Okay. Oh, jeez. Well, I don't know if I necessarily should go to this immediately. I feel like we still save this for last because it was the main event, but it's hard to argue. But when it comes to match of the night, I gotta talk about it. How the fuck do you not talk about it? I'm gonna let you take away the play-by-play, the talking points, your thoughts, the emotions, the story, and the overall just presentation of this. How the fuck do you not talk about this match for your candidate with MJF and Will Ospreay 2 for the AEW American Championship? It was personal. It was brutal. It was literally, if we're being honest here, political. Because it was literally the scourge of America versus the pride of England, trying to restore international glory towards this newly christened championship. And I ain't going to say another word. Kids on you, your takeaways from this match, bruv.
MJF, that's Uncle MJF. That was not MJF. That was Uncle MJF. That was is an Uncle Sam. We trust you. In this case, Uncle MJF. Thank me later.
Ah,
Well, but the story was basically about Osprey not having the killer, or leading on not having the killer instinct, and of course that killer instinct of being the Tiger Driver 91 because he's been hesitant ever since he dropped it on Bryan Danielson's neck at Dynasty. He's been hesitant throughout these past few months and even leading up to All In during the first bit of the match that he was hesitant to drop the Tiger Driver 91. But I thought MJF was going to take himself serious. But of course he was not, as he hit Osprey with a kangaroo kick. And I'm like, you supposed to be serious. You're supposed to be a real American, but you out here hitting kangaroo kicks. But MJF and Osprey, that the story was basically, it was like I said in our prompt two last week, it was layer by layer. It was basically Osprey having earlier in his New Japan days is the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship, making it the IWGP UK Heavyweight Championship, and Osprey, MJF being a real American, or so to say, or if you saw Dynamite, Maximania, brother. Um, but towards the end of the match, though, Osprey was like looking back, and then he was like, "Tiger Driver, should I do it?" And then they ain't gonna tell him to do it. Tiger Driver 91 and dumped that boy on his neck for the 1, 2, 3, reclaimed the international championship. But like I said last week, that one X factor. If that one X factor showed up, it was gonna come in play. And it was Daniel Garcia, and it was right on the money. Daniel Garcia came into play, masked, hooded, figured we didn't know who it was at first that clocked MJF, while MJF had Ospreay down in the bouts. And then unveiled it was Daniel Garcia, not pelvic thrust Daniel Garcia. This was Red Death Daniel Garcia, the man who wants to get his revenge on MJF for that jumping tombstone off the second rope. And if you saw what happened on Dynamite, yeah, Daniel Garcia almost went for that exact same move on MJF's neck, even with Kinesio tape attached to it. But as soon as MJF saw Daniel Garcia, it looked like he saw a ghost, and then Osprey had the hidden blade ready, and then Tiger Driver 91, Will Ospreay reclaims the championship, throws away the American Championship, and CD Christopher Dales brings out the prestigious International Championship in its glory right back to Will Ospreay, and everything is right with the world.
yeah, and again, what a battle. What a way to set the stage with the fact that, again, he is truly an assassin, a world bender. He might be sometimes in the shadows, but what he does comes to light and he elevates every time. Why MJF pulled off his best Apollo Creed. Jesus Christ. With the Lex Luger trunks in his entrance as the streamers were still falling during
Yes,
the whole
they
match,
were.
which I thought was very aesthetic. I mean, Will Ospreay got dropped in his fucking head 4 times, including a freaking Panama Sunrise on the apron. I thought he was dead to rights right there. How he somehow kept kicking out and kicking out and kicking out, even after hitting the Stormbreaker on MJF, who continued to show his resilience. Tip for tap, move for move by our envious prick and American scumbag, who at one point saying anybody can flip, damn it, and almost tweaked his knee in the process. But like you said, that critical moment where the Tiger Driver was the decider, when he needed to do it, he finally fucking did it emphatically. And why Bryce Remsburg took the sweet ass time to finally get back in the ring. We finally got a 3 count, and Will Ospreay fucking wins, as I literally said on the call, and I almost say every time when it comes to Ospreay matches, they're that damn fucking good. MJF loses at Wembley Stadium, and Darren Garcia gets some much sought after silent revenge. Boy, was he vocal tonight. This was definitely the match of the night, but my God, I loved what these two brought out of each other. And it didn't go 59 minutes and 58 seconds either. It went maybe even half that, if half that. So again, that poor cameraman, by the way, though. I hope that cameraman.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a nasty shot. My gosh, that hidden blade caught that dude flush in the face. Innocent bystander. Whoopsie.
Sorry.
My bad. But yeah, and these two again, they really challenged each other also in the mat as well with a counter for counter pinfall exchange. One person coming in with a compromised back, lower cup treatments. MJF, of course, was grabbing the lower right side and also his shoulder, but constantly working over that left shoulder. You notice by when Ospreay did the Stormbreaker, he didn't use the dominant shoulder, he used the left. He used the right. I think that was the saving grace of MJF. So I think that was long-term thinking by MJF, whether we realize it or not. We may hate the guy, the poor human being, but MJF truly is the future of this industry. There's no denying that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, that being said, before I talk about our next match here, because I look at this card and I do figure about, again, everything that happened. I mean, the biggest thing about that coffin match, Jeff Perry tried to light Darby Allin on fire, and Steen came back and like, nope, you ain't doing that. Mercedes Moné and Double DMD, I felt was the most, well, to be fair, they were also coming off this. Was it me, or did it feel like the most protected match and the slowest in finding its way? Because it really didn't pick up towards the end where they're trying to counter each other off that lockjaw exchange and Camille was ejected. It felt like to me that Monet and Britt Baker were wrestling cautiously. It was a little sloppy. But at the end of the day, you can't argue with Monet got the result clean as a whistle. She bite her way out of lockjaw being applied and set up Britt Baker finally off her compromised back that she worked over that entire match for the Monet Maker and got the win. Clean as a sheet. So I just got to put that out there because respect women's wrestling. And Britt Baker and Monet, they gave a pretty decent match for what it was worth. Although, again, at the early going, it definitely was a little bit steady step, I think, by both. Whether it was nerves or Britt still finding, her grace back, considering she was grabbing her
See,
back.
that's what I was getting ready to say because what is it? Britt's third match back.
Yeah.
So I feel like she's still trying to work out the kinks of course, she was going through a lot. She was going through like what was it, torn labrum,
You
herniated
herniated disc.
disc.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with her, that was her third match being back. So I was like, that's when I'm like, okay, there must be wrestling very cautiously on Britt's part. Because Mercedes, we all know, is more, she honed that stardom, New Japan influence, and it made her improve like speed wise.
Right.
So like with Britt coming back, then her third match back, yeah, third match, fourth match back. So it was like, I expected more, but like you said, it picked up towards the end though.
Yeah. And other news. Hi guys. We heard that cricket bats they hurt, but FTW is restored once again to the task from the heirloom with Hook and Father literally pulling off Tash Mission, Red Rum in stereo, and the learning tree was fun after Big Bill went Tim Burr off the apron through a freaking barbed wire board through a London table. Those tables look like they suck.
Yeah, they do.
And then, of course, we also had the triple threat for the tag titles. Damn it. But it was interesting seeing how we had an EVP trigger and a Shatter Machine in combination with teams versus the standard. And again, tip for tap, move for move, moment for moment. All three teams were always in it at every given moment. But at the end of the day, shenanigans aside, title to the face, the Young Bucks retained. Damn it. And apparently they look like Arizona tea cans, according to my friend Walter, which made James broke. That I'm not gonna lie, that was coming tonight. That was freaking funny. You gotta admit he's kind of right.
They did, but it was more so on the Beatles cosplay. But I do get from where he's coming from.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Also, because we were in London, which of course we already talked about. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. We talked about cinema. We talked about emotions. We talked about what needed to give. We talked about what was it going to take for one of these two to win. We were asking three questions regarding this. We got our answer. And arguably, you could also say that Cowboy kind of maybe Frumonger mentioned the things, but good God Almighty, did the final countdown feel like the longest countdown ever going when it came to seeing if Bryan Danielson would survive Swerve Strickland's violence drive to break and end him to find his way to claim the AEW World Championship. This was an emotional journey, to say the least, and a bloody one at that.
Very bloody and very personal. When Swerve and family mix, it's a dangerous combination. Like when Swerve dragged out Danielson, I thought at first he was going to do it in the ring and use Danielson's own playbook. No, that man dragged Danielson out the ring towards by Bree, Birdie, and Buddy, kicked his freaking head in and told Birdie, he said, you want your daddy back? I'm gonna send him right back to you like this. I'm gonna send him right back to you. So that way you can spend time with your daddy. And it just Prince Nana just swerving all over the family. I'm like, these two are very maniacal. These two are really the most dangerous men in AEW.
Hell of an entrance, by the way, though, and congrats to Swerve Strickland signing his new contract. And I love the fact that Bryan Danielson did come out through the final countdown. By the way, the stage also freaking awesome. I love that hell.
Awesome set.
And we continue.
But what sold me to where I felt like, okay, that was final boss esque was when Danielson was going for the Busaico knee and he did. But Swerve looked at him was like brushed him off, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You brushed that Busaico knee off?
It's like
Oh, he different. He different.
built different.
I'm like, no one even like takes a Boseco knee and stand up to tell a tale, but Swerve's the first person to ever do that to say, "Hey, I took a Boseco knee and didn't even hurt me,"
Didn't flinch.
and just brushed it off. But but in the end, Daleson got his moment. He got his Wembley moment in front of 50,000 in London, and he finally, as we can finally say, and new AEW World Champion. And that look that picture. That picture was a bad. That's it's worth a
That picture
thousand words.
tells the story of All In right there. And not the whole
Yes,
story, but enough of it.
yes, it was.
Yeah, and again, you figure about what Bryan Danielson survived. Multiple house calls to the head. Birdie crying into Bree as Bree was literally, again, as a mother does, not only supporting her husband, but checking on, her children. Birdie, by the way, Birdie was the star of this match. With all due respect to Bryan Danielson's first chicken, Birdie, just her reaction, just Birdie's investment in this, and again, the drive of this storyline with the fact that Bryan is doing this for her and his family more than anything, whether it's his last stand at the end of the final countdown or he actually achieves the moment. As you said, he achieved the moment. It wasn't easy. He had to literally break, swerve to the point, jump manipulation in the end, finally trapped into the bell lock. Not to mention all the nods to Lord William Regal with the Regal stretch and the Regal plex. And again, at one point, we thought Cycle knee, he had him, but Heyman came in, was about to screw everything up. And Swerve literally was like, "Why the hell are you out here?" After Heyman got brained in the guitar earlier, knew that he couldn't get to the championship or Swerve. And it was that moment that was pinnacle for Bryan to nearly win right there. And I felt everything was in favor of the American Dragon from that point. But Swerve, he was relentless. He never gave up. He never gave in. He never let up, being perfectly honest here. These two at one point really Greco-Roman knuckle locking, bone on bone impact, elbow to the side of the head of each other. I thought he literally was going to knock Bryan Danielson out. Then the Dragon, like you said, woke up at one point and Swerve realized who he was dealing with until that Psycho knee for the first time ever was just brushed off as if he was literally just pushed by a little kid. And then at the end of the day, though, bigger than WrestleMania 30, Bryan said himself, so you can't at me, folks, as we heard on Dynamite.
Mm-mm.
Bryan Danielson, in front of his family, in front of over 50,000 in Wembley on his fifth attempt, wins the AEW World Championship and celebrates it in the ring with his family. You couldn't ask for a more cherishful, beautiful moment to end a pay per view for the American Dragon. 20 plus years in the game, their 2,000 matches against a guy he has mad respect for, Sorcerer, that pushed him to his absolute personal and physical best. And what a champion Swerve Strickland was, too, as the pyro went off, the confetti came down, and of course, Bible Comic Club and even Pac, for that matter, came down in a celebration and embraced respect. Looks like Pac wasn't the only one that got his Wembley moment at the end of the day. But simply put, this was what we needed to see, even if we were unsure we wanted to see it based on where Bryan stands physically. But damn it, he did prove that he was definitely 100% mentally stronger than ever. Yes, yes, yes. And that being said, that pretty much concludes our takeaway, our simple take, our simple recap of AEW All In. So, as I usually do, what used to be called a simple take, that was very simply put and simply done in less than 45 minutes. So, King, before we move on to talk about Dynamite, what's ahead, and what we got so far for All Out, and maybe highlight some of the other stuff coming up this week. Simply put, to conclude, as we bid London a fine adieu until 2026, we go all in again in this very facility. But next year, we know Forbidden Door will be in London. Don't know where yet. And we know that we're going all in next year. We're going all in Texas, in the home of the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Congrats to AEW on all these developments, as they also will go Grand Slam down under in Australia. Probably shorter than a cricket game. Just saying. Also, again, the cricket bat, the cricket balls totally cracked me up because I called that shit. But as we move away from All In and we head towards All Out and the future and maybe a paradigm shift and a lot of what the fucks and what's unknown, what's your final takeaway from AEW All In London 2?
6 hour spectacle. If you got the all in high like I do and like the simple man does, we totally understand. I am on my 10th rewatch of All In, and after this, I might be on my 11th before I go to bed.
Man, I'm crazy, so you know me. Fair enough. Again, I look at all things wrestling. I'm biased, but there are moments as fans, and every fan can agree to this. If you truly love this business, there are moments that truly stand out. You hold near and dear, you treasure more, you appreciate, you remember, you reflect, you go back and watch more than others. All in London right now, as a whole, is the show for me so far this year. And that's over 55 different shows across how many companies that I'm not even going to name. From Bryan Danielson to a guy I've respected since Ring of Honor and learning about his PWG work and then seeing Daniel Bryan, for what it was worth in the beginning, in WWE towards what he became towards the latter end of his career as the new Daniel Bryan, towards where he came to AEW and the American Dragon was once again brought back to life to the highest degree as professional wrestling needed. Damn it. And then a global escapade with everything else, including dream matches across Tokyo Dome and Mexico, just to name a couple, and Rev Pro with Saxon Jr. It's one of those things where I look at what Bryan Danielson has done and what he achieved and what it felt like and what he did it with and in front of. Made it so much more important. And again, as an advocate of women's wrestling, where you got one that basically is a hooker with an advocate adolescent child whose mother was unable to hold him on a ball and chain, and you got on a redemption story. Kudos for her. Last name is Johnson. Your women's division is underwhelming. And you got one that's the most predominant champion right now, probably in Jordan Grace since the arrival of TNA. But there's a lack of competition when your air is polluted by ash of ignorance. You look at what Thomas Tony Storm done with the AEW Women's World Championship and the Storm Ryan made. You can't argue that's been the best women's championship storyline this year. And Thomas Tony Storm has been the most prolific character in women's wrestling for the year 2024. And those two matches alone concerning the World Championships was enough for me to make this show absolutely wonderful. But Will Ospreay and MJF, they elevated, as the name implies, elevated the game for what you do in that ring. Each match stood out on its own, in its own way, left you with something to think about. You had Nigel McGuinness come back to the ring. Nothing else going to top that this year for me. Nigel fucking McGuinness coming back to the ring to try and get his moment. Please don't be the last. I can talk about this
Please
all
don't.
night, but I'm not going to do that because, again, we're tired. Bottom line, AEW All in London right now is my show of the year. Good luck, top that shit, wrestling business. I absolutely loved everything about it. And it wasn't 14 matches either. Ain't that some crazy shit? But
Right.
congratulations again, especially to Mariah May, Bryan Danielson, and Will Ospreay on all winning and gaining championships as AEW approaches its 5th year. They definitely went all in, and we went all out on this simple takeaway. Okay, well, that being said, let's go ahead and switch gears as we're now moving towards all out, and probably more along with that. As we're coming off AEW Dynamite, and tonight was very interesting. Which started off literally with the Death Rider returning from vacation 2 months ago, and John Moxley, a man of few words, simply said, and I quote, long overdue conversation with somebody that's not here that I want to speak with, Darby Allin. Before we can get more on that, though, he also simply said, with a pause, Tony Schiavone, this is no longer your company. And he walked away. And he walked away. King? What?
That was my first initial reaction with you was what? Like what? First of all, welcome back John Moxley after a 2 month well, after a few months vacation. First of
Yeah,
all,
yeah,
welcome
but he
back.
has never been endorsed since he lost the IWGP Heavyweight Championship to Tetsuya Naito, and clearly different look, different attire, and he came out to the Death Rider theme.
Right, and that's what surprises me because usually he'll be out in Blackpool Combat shirt and jeans and boots, or Blackpool Combat Club long sleeve compression shirt,
Yeah,
pants and boots.
but remember the last time we saw him at the beginning of the year, and I go back to this on Collision. What did he say regarding enemies and friends? One thing you have to do with me, keep up.
Oh,
That I imagine that still has to imply here, but it sounds like to me he's on island of his own. Considering
right, which he's quiet,
combat old right now, I might add.
which I feel like he's quietly separating himself from Claudio and Wheeler and Bryan for some reason. But is he planning like a hostile takeover in AEW when he said this is no longer your company? Like is he planning a hostile takeover?
And what does he want to talk to Darby Allin about? We know that was one of his first matches. I still go back and watch that back when JR's like, "Good God Almighty." Good to see JR, by the way. That was part of the main event, too, considering he signed Brian Danielson his first contract. I know how important that was to good old JR, boys professional wrestling, for life, respect. But yeah, and remember, he and Darby Allin, they even fought over the AEW World Championship during the pandemic. And after the match, he
Yep.
says, Darby, you can ride with me anytime you want. And again, these two have always been lone wolves in their own way in this business. And of course, Darby Allin, he wasn't involved on Dynamite tonight, considering what happened during the coffin match after Sting came also to his aid before he got lit up like a Christmas tree. But yeah, something about this just is really interesting considering we're approaching the company's 5-year anniversary. When John Moxley first came in, he ushered in a paradigm shift. To your point now, he might be plotting a takeover or an anarchy.
On the 5th year anniversary, when you brought that up, 5th year anniversary, and you said he brought the paradigm shift. This paradigm shift just felt like it got shifted even more.
Right? Well, again, there wasn't much more to say from that as we go backstage to the conglomeration and we talk about Mark Briscoe, who gave the word of the day again. Always is excited. Shout out to Mark Briscoe, by the way, who successfully retained his Ring of Honor World Championship against the Beast Mortos. Of course, you all can follow that on our Ring of Honor Club hashtag watch ROH. But it's one of those things where again, this guy could say anything to me. He could advertise. He could try and sell me freaking insurance, and I'll probably buy into it because that's just how good he freaking is. I love that boy so damn much. And of course, we kicked things off with him backstage. Hype up the fat. We had Cowboy Snack taking on, of course, Tomohiro Ishii. He also, of course, talked about Willow Nightingale, who, of course, won that mixed tag match. He gets picked the stipulation for the CML Women's World Championship match to come at All Out, which again, folks, is be Saturday, September 7th. I miss Eddie Kingston. Saturday, September 7th. We now, of course, have two official matches. We know we got Pop versus Will Ospreay for the AEW National Championship. And now we know it will be Will Nigo defend the SEMA Women's World Championship against Chris Statlander in, oh, good Lord, Chicago Street Fights.
Yep. And when it comes to women in AEW or in Ring of Honor and violent matches, they don't miss. But this one's going to get more violent, knowing the both of them how violent they were in a tag team. Imagine what they can do in a violent environment with just them one on one.
Yeah, this will be a first one-on-one under extreme circumstances. I do wonder if Willow set up something for disaster, considering that Steel Chain now that really escalated this thing in the first place could come into play. So again, it's one of those things, though, as Mark Briscoe talks about how we're not thinking about what happened at All In. We all came up short, but today is a new day, and the word of the day. The word of the day. I can't. Let me see if I can say it again.
Oh boy.
The word of the day, it's indefatigable. And it's just like, what? Is that actual word? It's like, we don't stop. We keep fighting till we can't fight, and we keep fighting, and we're going to be an 8-man all-star action. And my main man, the guy, Tomohiro Ishii, he about to go crazy on some cowboy shit. And it's just, I can't speak like Mark Briscoe because, again, you can't mock that guy. You can't freaking quote that guy because he just speaks sometimes actually gibberish. And then as like, freaking walks away. Also talk about Hook, three-time FTW champion. I guess he's part of collaboration, or at least he's got the respect of them. Oh my gosh! And then of course he had Doritos, not the cheese flavor. I guess Orange Cassidy had a couple, and yeah, they were getting ready, hyping up tonight the 8-man All-Star tag as we headed back into the ring for our first match. And it was literally Japanese strong style and Cowboy Shiznak. Stone Pitbull Wrestling took on Heyman and Page. Damn, they chopped, they slugged, they punched, they bashed, they lariat, they suplex, they did everything they could to each other physically. This was a fun physical warfare match, to say the least. First time ever singles encounter. All the chops and the shots, the anger and the drive. That lariato, that freaking reversal by Ishii into his own Deadeye, jumping Deadeye, might I add. I thought he literally dropped Heyman on his head. That was nasty looking.
Yeah, like on top of it too.
But again, the rage of the cowboy, he was able to fight through, prevent the vertical drop brainbuster, and finally catch Ishii into a Deadeye. I gotta also point this out. I swear, I could have paused my TV. That DDT on the apron. By the way, Ishii doesn't have a neck. I get it. He stood that boy straight up like a railroad spike, literally for like 7 seconds. That was scary. God.
Yep, he did. That was the moment that got me to where I'm like, is she okay?
Yeah, right? Well, I mean, the guy was once registered dead for 10 minutes. I'm just saying, every match is almost like his last. So there you go. At the end of the day, though, the buckshot lariat did connect, and him and Adam Page, he did get the win. An incredible match against Tomohiro Ishii. First time ever. I want to see it run back. But boy, did things change, to say the least. And who's out?
Swerve's house, but that Swerve's house ain't got no key. As Swerve talked about, said, you've been so focused on me that you losing sight of yourself. I've been rising to the top since Revolution, where you gave up because you didn't want to see me win the AEW World Championship, and that pissed me off. So with that, from that point, he got rid of Hangman Adam Page out the way. He, of course, what he did at Dynasty was win the AEW World Championship and had a 4-month reign with that championship, which respect to you, Swerve, on that 4-month reign. But Swerve said to Hangman, you want to know what I did just up the road, though? Good. I went back down to your house. I saw you walking with your pregnant wife down the stairs. And I said, this is the Hangman Adam Page that he needs to be. But you've been so focused on me that you're losing sight of yourself. That I feel like your career right now is going up in flames. That I get to call myself a world champion. and you're not. And then Hangman with a rebuttal said, "You're not a world champion. You're not a world champion of anything. If anything, I think you a piece of. You went to my house. You went to my house." And that's when Swerve was like, asked the question, how man of you are you gonna? Let's see. Let's see how they could be outside of the ring. We know we can be outside of the ring. Let's see how we can be locked inside of the ring.
Yeah, because Heyman
Still,
specifically said that you are a piece of shit. You are a coward. You're not a champion. Not a champion. You are not a champion. And the only way that you've beaten me was literally Prince Nana got involved. The second time, Prince Nana and Brian Cage got involved. Third time, you couldn't beat me for 30 minutes. Continue.
and that's when the challenge was thrown down. Let's see how of a man you can be. All out, steel cage.
Oh shit.
And guess what? I don't know if you checked the group chat, but it's official.
Oh boy.
Saturday, September 7th, we're going to get this match ran back one more time as Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland butt heads one more in the Now Arena in Chicago at All Out in a steel cage match.
But Swerve left Heyman with one very prolific statement in question. What sort of man are you, considering your career has literally been up in smoke lately? You lost blood and guts. You lost out on the Owen. You lost out at the Casino Gauntlet. Everything you've done so far, you've come up empty. While I've been a champion and I've been focused on trying to raise the value and the identity of this company. But what sort of man are you, Hangman? And the fact that Heyman just looked on and walked away.
Didn't say a word.
Eminem Page, it's time to find out what sort of man you are once again. It's not the first time he tried to find himself out, but it took like a year and a half. Now that Swerve no longer is champion, but apparently Swerve is still a personal vendetta against him. Is this same Hangman that right now has been able to do nothing against Swerve going to show up at All Out? Or are we actually going to get the former AEW World Champion that actually could actually get the job done and get the win? Heyman right now has been questioned on his moral code more than his family values, it seems, by Swerve Strickland. And that's saying something. Damn.
And all it took was that one attack that happened in November. That's all it took for Hangman to be this deranged that he is now.
Well, that being said, as we got now two matches known and we move forward, of course, the women's division now really is picking up as, of course, Haterade Reigns. I'm a hater for life. Let's freaking go. Jimmy Hater returned in fine, beautiful ginger-based fashion and took on Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron, though, certainly tried as Saraya was on the outside after Saraya's family was embarrassed at AEW All In. And Saraya says, excuse me, Hater said, of course, botch, that you want to know what's next? I'll let my actions speak for me. And boy, did them. After stopping Harley Cameron from doing Eat the Feet after stomping a mother on her and walking it dry, Saraya watched, I think in horror to a degree, Harley Cameron got her head taken off with that beautiful, always magnificent and powerful bicep Haterade dropped Harley Cameron where she might as well be back in Australia, and Saraya ran for her life. So what we learned here is Jamie Hater's back. I'm a hater. She hasn't lost a single step. She looks as powerful as ever. And Saraya, you might want to protect your neck because you might end up in the injury reserve self because you have an overdue revenge case coming for you back from Double or Nothing 2022. Just saying. That or 2023. I can't keep track of years. Botch. But hey, Jamie Hayter looks beautiful here, and I'm so glad to see her back. But it does make me wonder now, is her focus primarily only on Saraya because she's the only outcast right now known, or will she still try and go after Ruby Soho when she returns from being a mother and giving birth? Congratulations to her on that coming up. And Toni Storm, whether or not she's timeless or comes back as something else, or is still black and white in London. But still, good return for Jamie Hayter.
16 months have been missed by this woman, and 16 months was worth the wait. Welcome back, Jamie Hayter. Yes.
Yeah, And again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Harley Cameron and Chelsea Green are gems of this business. Both of them deserve to be women's champions. I love me a hot mess, and Harley Cameron's awesome. So seriously, respect to those two. And it's good to see Harley Cameron actually wrestling more often. I guess she was out
Yes.
due to like injuries. Go figure. Anyway, she's a piece. Now let's go. Hi guys. So we go backstage to the Learning Tree as Chris Jericho congratulated Hook, of course, for winning the FTW championship because all those lessons that he gave him, I don't know how that works in Bizarro World, pay off. And of course, he looks now towards teaching another lesson to Hook and to others here involved, leading by example here on Dynamite as the Redwood Big Bill was talking about as the branches sprout more and more. I'm not even sure what this Learning Tree debacle was. As Renee Paquette was basically getting hype up ahead of the 8-man All Star. And as we were leaving, Brian Keefe took a second, looked at Renee, and
Pay the price.
I don't know why we laughed at that so damn hard, but that was like the shades of Ollie from Family Guy with that delivery. I mean, they didn't even have to hear, go to Ollie or ask the name, because Jericho is basically saying there's a price to be paid when you mess with the Learning Tree. Maybe I should just start coming and being like, I am the simple man. But anyway,
Oh Lord.
maybe I'll do that. The semi predicting next time for AEW when we talk about the Learning Tree and their book. But I don't know. Anyway, thanks, guys. So as we get ready for that 8-man All-Star, well, was he in a mood or what? MJF back in the pure black and gray, apparently with heavy kinesio tape, not a neck brace though, unlike the Paradigm Shift 2020, just saying. Came in with as much visceral that I thought he could muster, denouncing his American citizenship to everywhere except for the most beautiful place on earth, Long Island, New York, blah, blah, blah. And then with almost a maniacal vendetta set out to Will Ospreay, where he looks to take him out at the knees with a smile on his face. That sounds like a more dangerous horror movie villain than anything the friggin' Hollywood cinema can produce. And they're producing a movie about horrible AI. Wow, originality really went dead. Anyway, as we move on from there, he was calling out, of course, everybody, the fans, us, the entire roster, Will Ospreay, and the person that really was the difference maker there. Also, the fact that his ring was stolen. We didn't know how it was stolen, but we also learned Red Death Dan Garcia, who came in like a bow help from behind and looking to literally drop the man on his head with a tombstone power but from the top rope. At first, it was prevented, though, of course, by staff on hand. MJF got the better of him. And then all hell was breaking loose. Christopher Daniels once again coming to the MJF after he was put to sleep by a guillotine. Yeah, Red Death is back with a vengeance. Damn. And we had a pull-apart brawl and melee ensue, but not before Dan Garcia gave this statement. As he says, what happened to him on the most important day of his life in front of his mother, he will not rest till MJF feels that same pain, as MJF has zero fucks about anybody's well-being, including his own sometimes, for being honest here. Red Death looking for revenge and positive fatality, as was made official by Tony Khan. It will be MJF versus Daniel Garcia at All Out, where he looks to end him with that power driver. And we also learned that apparently you could pawn a 100K diamond ring in some place in Buffalo, New York for enough round-trip airfare to get you to London, which is how I got to All in the first place, to cost MJF during that match with Ospreay. Who knew? I guess airfare maybe is affordable more than I thought. But quite a statement, though, King. And here I thought I was going to have it at Grand Slam. They're already going all in on this at All Out.
Yep. And it was kind of expected because how much longer were you going to wait until Grand Slam? I mean, Daniel Garcia was out for about, what, a month? Maybe a month and a half?
Give or take.
So, like, of course they got to pull the trigger all out. Got to pull the trigger. And I'm glad they're doing it because Red Death, like, dude, this was not pelvic thrusting. This not him. No. This Daniel Garcia was more vocal. Like, you can feel that rage in his voice that he wants to break MJF's neck.
Yeah, and it looks like he literally, as MJF was talking about, how he is in extreme pain. He has some herniated disc in his neck or something like that. but he's still standing. He was like, man, barely moving, and he's talking about the people, if they get underneath his skin, he was going to go out and literally fight all the. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm just saying, with already the state of your body, an empty threat. Anyway, it's good to see Daniel Garcia back, and I'm sure Matt Menard couldn't be happy. It wouldn't surprise me if Matt Menard's on commentary. I appreciate Matt Menard on commentary when he's on commentary. Anyway,
Same.
hi guys, we get into our 8-man all eight. Good God Almighty, this was a melee and a half. 8-man all-star brawl. Let's just call it what it was. Referee Aubrey Everett for this contest. Shout out to Aubrey. Congrats on making history once again at All in London. Living the dream. Continue living it. And again, it was just 8 men going crazy. Roderick Strong, of course, in the learning tree for one night only, alongside Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Bad Apple, Brian Keefe, taking on the conglomerations Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, the faces of Kyle, and freaking Hook. We had T-Bone Suplex Galore to everybody. We had the Redwood hoist hook up as high as the Empire State Building. Bossman Slam. Apparently, Big Bill is still very over. I'm still confused by that, but you know what? At one point, we had a hockey fight in Champaign, Illinois. At one point, we had a fan with a nice hat. I like that fan's hat. Kyle O'Reilly apparently approved, but apparently Brian Keefe did not. And at the end of this melee, including in the dark zones of the arena, if you want to call it that, and everybody went flying. And Aubrey's like, fuck it. Just go ahead. Do whatever. Aubrey just letting his leniency fall. I mean, I don't blame her. She knows she's dealing with here. At the end of the day, we got Hook tapping out Roderick Strong to the Red Rum. But referee out of position as Roderick was tapping, his foot was underneath the bottom rope. So he has an alibi, in my opinion. And apparently, he doesn't even need to ask for an alibi. He's forcing one. As a post-match melee ensued following this. And next thing you know, it looks like Roderick Strong has set his sights on the FTW title. No rest for the FTW champion now, Hook being the 3-time FTW champion. As the Undisputed Kingdom, that answers my question, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett came out 3-on-1 on Hook and hosted up, holding the FTW championship. So it looks like that could be a feud. That could be, I don't know, 0 hour for all out. But still, fun match.
Fun match, very fun all-star brawl, 8-man tag, call it for what you will.
Right? I mean, again, and again, the word of the day was indefatigable. If you could spell that.
Take that away, Mark Briscoe. He might know how to spell it for you.
I don't know if that's possible. As we go backstage, the CEO, Mercedes Monet, was having a little bit of a bubbly in the post-party. Don't do that. And it looked like she was being confronted by a private party. And literally, they were talking about, you can't have a part of us. And it looked like that one of them was trying to put the moods on Mercedes Monet.
Isaiah Cassidy.
Yeah, that's what it was. Not sure how wise that was, considering, again, her past. And also Camille, she don't play that game. But neither does apparently the Continental champion, Kazuchika Okada, who basically taught Mercedes Monet how to say "sana beach," or excuse me, "goodbye bitch" in Japanese. I guess Japanese word for a bitch is bitch. Who knew the English and the Japanese?
While doing the CEO dance right before he went to commercial.
Oh my god!
Trust me, folks, it is the greatest thing you have ever seen. Just when I thought Okada couldn't be even more funnier, here we are on August 28th, 2024. Kazuchika Okada is even more funnier right now than he's ever been. What? You didn't like that? You don't like Okada doing a CEO?
That was disturbing, seeing a grown man in a suit, let alone a man like Kazuchika Okada doing that.
Hey, remember their friendship started at Battle in the Valley 2 years ago. Let's not forget about that.
I remember. Oh, good lord. I'm just waiting to see who confronts the CEO now. And if you bring a corporate takeover, please do. Sooner rather than later. Dadgummit. That would be nowhere to be found, by the way. So hopefully she's okay. Meanwhile, as we go back inside with the back-to-back segments regarding our champions, it was the Glamour. Mariah May coming out for her championship celebration. And, oh my. Literally saying that she necessarily didn't want to go all out in her celebration here in a city where you're called Champaign, but it's a college campus. The only thing you have here is some cheap beer. Damn. And then really talked about the people and what they get into versus what they wish to get into. Jesus, she didn't like.
Yeesh.
And then coming out in a robe, looking to give us a tease of what's ahead and what the era of the glamour looks like. Uh, yeah, that was a sight. King, speak, glamour, Inquisitor. We
Ooh,
didn't get a
crap.
confrontation, but we got a presentation. Woo. Okay.
Yeah, you better be glad it wasn't the way that you thought it was going to be, the way how she said it. Because I remember when she came out before she won the AEW World Championship, when she was interviewed on All In Weekend, saying that if I win the AEW Women's World Championship, there will be a new celebration. Just because she postponed it tonight, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen ever. So be on your toes. What we
Uh,
got tonight was probably a teaser. But
uh,
who confronts Mariah May next?
hey,
I don't know
God.
at this rate. I mean, we saw Mina Shirakawa and Rachel Ellering on the upper box at Wembley. And if Mariah and Mina happens, I'm not going to be in this world for about the duration of the match. Noah, wake up.
What? I'm sorry.
Wake
What?
up.
Mina, Mariah, match? Yeah, right. In the ring, right? Hey, hey,
Oh
hey,
no.
hey. I follow rose gold too much. Jesus Christ Almighty, black and gold never looked finer. Well, but anyway, the era of the glamour has officially begun. God, babe. Woo.
And I
Uh,
thought I was the one going goo goo gaga over people.
Look,
Apparently
there
not.
are
I'm
two
not the
things I
only one.
appreciate about women in wrestling, all right? You're a champion that wears a beautiful championship worthy of being called a women's championship, and you're an absolute capable competitor worthy of being called champion. And the glamour is that and more. Learn something that Morgan, Nia Jax, and others. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway,
Amen.
oh, God. We also learned that the grizzled young veterans will also be around for the longer time, it seems, here in AEW. And when the GYV comes around, you need to do one thing only: grit your teeth. And then there come those fucking bucks to, I think, welcome them, but also try and put them in their place. I wouldn't give to see the GYV put those YBs in their place. You want a reason for this tag division? I'm just saying. We also know that, of course, they made their first statement at the expense of FTR at All In. I'm trying to get the names right. And, of course, we also learned they will be in action here this week with an example to put forward at the expense of, damn it, the Outrunners this Friday. You got
Yay!
that this Friday on
Yay!
Rampage. You stop hating on the Outrunners. But we
No,
also,
I will not stop hating. Go ahead, continue.
damn you. We also learned, though, this Friday with Rampage that the Outbuzz returning, Konosuke Takeshita, and he will be involved in what's being as AEW does, fatal four-way, I call it showcase match. Let's just call it that, all right? And it will be the following. It will be Konosuke Takeshita taking on the Beast Mortals, Commander, and Leo Rush, which is quite a unique combination of styles there.
Yeah, you got two big men and you got two high flying men. It's gonna be interesting regardless.
Yeah, right. And again, Konosuke coming off that great one of the G1, only to lose in the semifinals. I definitely don't want him to be stagnant here, so I'm holding out for him to win here. And of course, beat Motos, who was on quite a run, but lost the Ring of
Mhm.
Honor World Championship match against Mark Briscoe. You wonder where he lies. Theo Rush, who's been in and out all around, of course, alongside top flight, recently taking on Clark really great match on Collusion. Don't know where he stands. And then you got Commander, who's a champion, I believe, right now in AAA, and he's been flying with the place. Last time he beat Mortals in the ring, the Beast Mortals surprised the hell out of us and beat him at Ring of Honor that before Dishonor. So it's an interesting forward to see which way this could go with these four men. So I'm curious to see what happens there. All right, I'll let you go ahead and leave this thing on because we were talking about our main event match here. Ricochet has arrived in AEW, and he's arrived in fine fashion out of this world. As Ricochet went one-on-one with the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher. And this match was everything I expected. It was intense, it was highly competitive, and it was high flying. Your thoughts on Ricochet's first impression in ring debut on Dynamite against Kyle Fletcher? called his shot, but again, the Protostar came out short.
What I said during our that simple of what we did of All In, and I'm gonna reiterate it here. Ricochet has unlocked his true moveset. The moveset we know him from in Lucha Underground, the moveset we knew him from in PWG days, the moveset we know him from in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was more of show us of why you became a trailblazer for high flying wrestlers like yourself in the modern era of professional wrestling. It was more of show us that you still got it like that when you had that match with Will Ospreay, which I will get more to in a second because they did tease a face off. It
Yeah,
was more it was more of let's see how can you handle this roster of professional wrestlers, especially in AEW and the partnerships that AEW has.
right.
And Ricochet did not disappoint with Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher really held up his own against Out of This World, one of the best of the modern era when it comes to high flying professional wrestlers that he is, and very innovative at that. Ricochet is going to fit in like a hand in glove in AEW, no doubt about that. And of course, we had that little teaser with the bruv coming in, and then all of a sudden, here comes a bastard.
Ouch.
Pac, what a poison runner, and gave the welcome to AEW the Ricochet. But you can't. But he said you can't have Osprey though. He's mine.
Yeah, back of the line. And of course, Ricochet won with the vertical after preventing Kyle Fletcher, who was looking for, of course, that pile driver. But again, tip for tap, move for move, that high octane flying kick in the corner, Ricochet flying all over the place, getting the better Kyle Fletcher at times. It was literally a battle of speed, pace, performance, and experience. Ricochet, of course, has far more experience with Kyle Fletcher, who, again, Kyle Fletcher still in the prime of his career, while Ricochet, again, has over 20 different championships in his ever evolving career. And it looks like he hasn't lost a single step. He's got newfound life. And this new finisher he did, the vertical, it got him the win. But to your point, the dream match now teased, but a poison run unlike anything I've seen before on the stage. Considerable Osprey was dropped on his head 4 damn times in and out of the ring, on the floor, especially being caught with a sake special out of MJF. That was ridiculous, by the way. At All In. It looks like Will Ospreay needs to really put his focus and his neck against the bastard, or we got a very short transitional run for this 2-time AEW National Champion, bruv.
Yep.
And I imagine Ricochet will have the bastard in his sights, and I can't wait to see that match either. Let's fucking go. But Ricochet, welcome to AEW, a hell of a first impression. Kyle Fletcher, great opportunity, but you gotta try and find some progression, man. Anyway, as we move over from there, before we get ready for our main event segment, we go backstage with Jon Moxley, who's saying some people need to be humble, lesson needs to be taught. And out of nowhere, what the hell?
Marina interfered. Though it looks like we have a problem in AEW along with this newfound takeover, hostile takeover under siege. I don't know. Like I heard that these two were like sparring partners. Like, and I heard Moxley was trying to get Marina in the Blackpool Combat Club once upon a time.
Yeah.
So it's like that, and then you add this together, and it's like, and then you add Darby's name to that conversation that she wanted to have that long conversation overdue. Something tells me Moxley's forming a new group of some sort, or at least trying to. Because you don't just basically call out Darby first while he's not here, and then all of a sudden we go backstage towards like parts of the show later on in the show, and then Marina Shafir shows up out of nowhere causing wreck shop.
Right? I mean, literally, that one guy was the smartest man in the room, like, no. As Shafir and Moxley looked like they were leaving the building together. So this is an interesting development. New attitude, new mission statement, new outlook on the wrestling business, new outlook on AEW. This could be interesting, but also very dangerous. Well,
More so in the dangerous part because if we know how Moxley can go, and if we see Marina Shafir's like in ring work, especially in Ring of Honor with her new submission move she's been doing as of late,
butter's milk.
exactly, it's going to become a big problem for the rest of everybody in AEW if they continue to be on this type of mission.
Yeah, about to say, and what Mercedes Monet has with Camille, does John Moxley have now with freaking not that he needs a heater or a heavy or but maybe he's trying, to boost this women's division too. Marina Shafir, she's been kind of that sleeper asset, agent, booked competitor in this division. Whether you understand her wrestling or not, or still think that she's balancing the two, of course, going over from MMA into wrestling. Again, can't argue with the blood sport thing, especially. This is a very unique pairing, to say the least, considering that's also Roderick Strong's wife.
Right.
And what are people even thinking about that? It's funny to me that Marina Shafir and Roderick Strong have done nothing together whatsoever. Honestly, it probably shouldn't be funny to me because, again, these two are in their own different paths, and I respect that. Anyway, weird. Anyway, as we get ready now for our main event segment, it was time to hear from the American Dragon Bryan Danielson concerning the future. And the bottom line we were wondering is, what is ahead? Is this it? Where do we go? Knowing we got at least 2 championship matches looming and a show in Tacoma, Washington. Not Aberdeen, Washington, but still his home state. As Bryan Danielson, as humble as always, he came out wearing, man, what a beautiful sight, that AEW World Championship with brand new plates, by the way, American Dragon. Love it. It was time to hear from him, and he talked about what it meant to him that happened at Wembley Stadium, how long he went for this, and finally doing it. But more importantly, doing that in front of his family, and more particularly his daughter Birdie, who said that was the greatest thing I ever saw you did, which made Bryan Danielson say himself that was the greatest moment of his career. Thank you, American Dragon. As everyone was saying, thank you, Bryan, thinking that this was the final curtain call. Was he going to relinquish the title? And then he talked about, of course, again, August 1st, his contract expired. Hasn't resigned. He is due for neck surgery. And he talked about his family are ready for him to come home. And as we were saying, no, selfishly as fans, even you and I, let's admit it, we're not, too
We're not ready for that.
to say it. He was basically going to tell us that he was not going to lie this title down. He also talked about how AEW is so good for wrestling business, has been so good for professional wrestling, and AEW is awesome. No matter what you think about politics, rating, journalists, dirt sheets, your own toxic personality if you develop one, AEW is good for the wrestling business, and fuck you if you think otherwise. And that being said, we are now officially, as he said, the final run, as he will keep wrestling, but defending, because he's got a championship to defend. He will be defending the AEW World Championship. But don't get it twisted. Once he loses it, he's done. It's over. We are now officially on the final run of what truly is a final countdown. It's a matter of who and where and when. And he asked for first person to step up, first come, first serve, because all out's around the corner. Who steps up to the challenge? Oh boy. The scapegoat, Jack Perry, who's looking to end things for the American Dragon and further create history for himself. Very poetic and very prolific in his statement as he hit Bryan with a knee to the side of the head and holding up both the TNT Championship they still have and the AEW World Championship. So now we got our main event for All Out in Chicago. Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. Now, let's just put it out there. He's not losing. There's no way in fuck that Bryan Danielson's losing. Jack Perry's getting his head fucking kicked in without glass, and I think everyone's going to appreciate it. But this mission statement, this final creed, this final run on the final countdown, King, how far do you see it going, and what do you think about this choice for Bryan Danielson?
It's basically it's a page out of Ric Flair playbook. When like you keep winning his title, but this time with championship applications. He wins the championship matches. We get to see Bryan Danielson another day. He loses, he's done. Yeah, I think this is going to be the shortest title reign because let's not forget, bruv. After All Out, we are a few weeks away to Wrestle Dream. So, yeah, he's like, this is going to be the shortest title reign. This is going to be the shortest title reign, but it's going to be an enjoyable title reign because of who it is and who he represents. But Jack Perry is not going to be the one to do it. You know how I am with the Elite. Jack Perry is not winning it. He's not. He's going to get his head kicked in.
Yeah. And again, we gotta consider that Grand Slam. Darby Allin is waiting for the AEW World Champion. John Moxley is also waiting to have a conversation with him. We also gotta consider that Christian Cage. Oh dear God,
Oh Jesus, I forgot
has a
about that.
guaranteed AEW World Title shot, and would not surprise me if he tries to do it in Washington and try to talk about how Brian's a bad father. Blah 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 blah. As we haven't heard or seen the patriarchy at all either. We also got to consider again the look and the outlook of this roster. Is Heyman going to want to go back after this? Is Swerve going to want to go back after this? Considering Tacoma, Washington is his hometown, and if he puts Swerve, if Swerve puts Heyman in his place once and for all, that's got to give him free clairvoyance. I think back to the AEW World Championship, and that would be the perfect stage for him to cash in that rematch. And again, I know Brian is so damn passionate and prolific, but what John Moxley's doing, I honestly think that John Moxley could be Bryan Danielson's undoing.
See, I didn't even think about that. Cause I've been so focused on the whole Blackpool Combat Club with them too.
Yeah. Well, either way, I will say this about this Dynamite. It was a really fun show. It was great Fallout. And again, I know we got pay-per-view literally in about a week and a half with All Out. And as we also know, Battle of the Belts 12 is going to be in the middle of
Oh,
October on a Thursday. Freaking scheduling. As we approach Grand Slam after All Out, we have the 5th anniversary. We got Battle of the Belts at 12, and we go from there. But it's one of those things that I say all the time. You don't necessarily need to build something long term in wrestling to have a good wrestling match or a fun clinic. You don't necessarily need something to have a long term storytelling out the gate immediately. Hell, how many freaking international PLEs in between the big four shows actually have some long term thing going into it versus being a freaking bridge point or a cliffhanger ahead of actually culminating at one of the big four? So, people, get off your fucking high hats, take a break, and relax and enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. Enjoy wrestling what it offers. Not every match needs a story, and not every match needs 250 different pinfalls, and not every match needs to be concerned over the same two people in a different type of echelon. But when it makes sense in storytelling, short or long, go along with it and see what comes from it. Because again, we just went all in. We're going all out. All Out is a bridge point, obviously, towards Full Gear before we look at Wrestle Dream and what could culminate there. And then we got a little bit of fun with Grand Slam and the 5-year anniversary between, oh yeah, and excuse me, Title Tuesday. I think people really need to look at the wrestling business more loosely when it comes to the fact that not every match has a long-term story. Not every match has a story, blah, blah, blah. If people look for every match for a story, go watch reality TV because wrestling is also sports showcase. It's competitive. It's fun to watch people bring the best out of each other in the ring to see the stronger spirit. Watch Japanese pro wrestling as an example. I'm just saying. God damn, not everything has to be WWE, and thank Christ it isn't. That being said, that's just me talking about the wrestling business more loosely because TNA doesn't need long-term storytelling. I just need great in-ring competition and action. I just need a different alternative. WWE has some good stories, but I need more than bootleg Bloodline and bootleg Judgment Day to actually care more about WWE on a weekly basis. But the
right.
PLs are right, especially with international lines. If they are domestic, most of them are kind of like, nah. But hey, I will say this. Emergence, 6-man Iron Man match, Nick Nemeth and freaking Josh Alexander. That's going to be an absolute wrestling clinic. And we also are going to see at Bash in Berlin, Goofer's grandest showcase as he deserves to date, taking on Randy Orton, a modern day compared to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat Ric Flair. I'll be the judge of that, but I think both can pull it off and a bunch of other stuff. And then after that, we go, of course, all out where we have the bastard pot taking on Will Ospreay, two proud Brits, a bastard, a heel, and an elevated all elite bruv. Where again, we have no idea how far this championship goes, and Pop beat Kenny Omega on this stage 5 years ago. See if the Bastard makes history again, becomes a double champion. We'll see if Heyman versus Swerve Forward, how it escalated, finally ends, or does Heyman finally get his shit together and maybe put Swerve Strickland in the rearview mirror? And then we'll see what the rest of the show brings. And it's sure to be a lot of fun because, again, there's just a lot of fun going on right now in all things wrestling. And if you can't find something fairly impartial, open-minded to try and enjoy in this business, get the fuck out of here. But that being said, we're going to get the heck out of here too, because I think that's a perfect time right there at the 9-minute mark as we bid you all fine adieu for this impromptu. A simple all-in takeaway and review and a post-match discussion regarding the fallout of AEW all in with this Dynamite 2. Again, fun episode, and that's all I need. I just need fun wrestling with a balance of great wrestling, way less branding, way less stupid commercial breaks, and underplayed commentary. And honestly, sometimes I don't even listen to commentary. I just look at what's in the ring. I'm my own commentator at times. I just need to be engaged with what I'm watching. And professional wrestling does that through pretty much all the companies in their own way, some more than others. And that's just the way I am. Simple as that. That being said, King, a lot of fun. Again, I guess I'll see you next week, Wednesday, for our, can you believe it, Dynamite watch along. And then we're going to go impromptu again as we go all out.
Wow.
At least it's not this weekend. Thank you, Tony Khan. You're not that much crazy of a madman. At least you're trying and you're learning. And again, Saturdays. Thank you. And of course,
Thank you.
yeah. And of course, let me not show disrespect to NXT, which actually is the brand to watch in WWE. Don't at me. Because Roxanne Perez defends against Jada Parker. And I think somebody is showing up after that match to make a statement. And we also have Olafemi, the baddest motherfucker in WWE, defend the North American Championship against Tony D'Angelo. And we also have, of course, Wendy Chu taking on Kalani Jordan. We have NXT and A with Zachary Wentz versus Wes Lee. And we also will see if everybody believes in Joe Hendry becoming the NXT champion, because I will certainly go and say
his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I will certainly say that I believe in Joe Hendry becoming the NXT champion. And I'm looking very forward to a No Mercy as a whole this weekend versus the other two shows as a whole. So I'm looking very forward to everything that's ahead as we leave you now for all things wrestling and ATW. As always, thank you for tuning in. For those that choose to like, share, comment, tell a friend, leave your thoughts, comments down below. Be friendly, be respectful. King, an absolute pleasure. Any last thoughts, anything you want to plug and promote, where can people connect to find you?
That's good. This I know we just came from all in, but now we on the road to all out. Let's freaking go, man.
It never stops. It never stops. And also, before I give you a thing, how can I be so disrespectful? Let's also give a shout out to New Japan Pro Wrestling Capital Collision this Friday, as we have, of course, the Strong Championship being defended, the Strong Women's Championship being defended. The Grizzly on Veterans will try and become the contenders to the Strong Tag Team Championships. We got Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler in tag team action. We got 6-man tag team action with Yoshihashi, Rocky Romero, and Kevin Knight, and a whole lot more as it culminates, I believe, with Mercedes when they defend the WWE Strong Women's Championship against Stardom's Momo Watanabe. And also Hiromu Takahashi versus Mustafa Ali, where if Mustafa Ali wins, Hiromu has to call him the best junior heavyweight of all time. Anyway, continue.
Also, before I plug in my stuff, shout out to Claudio. Shout out to you, Claudio Castagnoli, for having a basically destroying and going through with your work schedule. I mean, Cardiff, Wednesday, and then back to Arena, Mexico, and then right back over to the UK for All In.
Good God.
Appreciate you on your toughness, bro. That's why you are the Swiss Superman for a reason. And congratulations on winning the International Grand Prix for Team World. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Again, he is one of a kind. Continue.
But yeah, y'all can find me. Y'all know where to find me on Twitter. I ain't calling it X. AMT Roman numeral 23, number 23 afterwards. Follow me on Instagram. Same thing, but the dot after the last Roman numeral of the 3, 23.
I was going to give it to you. That being said, I do it. That means that thank you, Kane. Again, folks, we simply do this. More so, I simply do this across all things wrestling. Again, shout out to the WWE family. Across all things, the multiverse media, with friends, with acquaintances, with members of No DQ, with members of the student community, with my friends, of course, in the Saturday shenanigans, because I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. damn it! God bless this business more than ever, considering what has given us 2024. Fuck bingo cards. Follow me if you choose. Engage me in a friendly manner if you choose. And in Foster 9016 for all things wrestling. Again, shout out to our entire AEW family on the Twitter and social media platforms. You can find the entire AEW playlist on my Sibla YouTube channel, where again we'll be back here next week after Dynamite Wednesday night for our all out preview and discussions. And again, follow the entire AEW crew. Follow my friend across the pond, Mary J. Continues to prove Jed more than gold. Cheers to you, my friend. Give Nina Samuels her long overdue receipt. And again, stay tuned for Rage of Wrestling, as we'll be covering not only TNA Emergence, Bash in Berlin, NXT No Mercy as well, and AEW All Out the following weekend, because we're that insane. And also, please follow Kathleen Studios, the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. He's got a lot of content coming up on his channel. Saturday Shenanigans will be back at this Saturday. King may be back again. Again, you're always welcome. And I will be back. I feel much better now, so stay tuned for that. I'll be updating all 5 Predictions League some point for this weekend once this maddening week of work ends. Sorry for the delay on those, folks. And of course, stay tuned for additional forums on TNA Emergence and WWE Bash in Berlin, and as well as those city predictings on my Sibbo YouTube channel as well, too. But as always, I conclude, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality, too. Judge your fans, just enjoy live and enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning into another simple discussion on this AEW Impromptu. We thank you as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. The bell of this video goes live on demand on this simple YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. I shoot my creative content, my passion, my open-minded outlook on all things wrestling is not going to let up anytime soon. If you want more critical opinions from me, PayPal me. It's as simple as that, because I'll freaking LA night roast the shit out of anything. Try me if you dare. But until next time, I'm fixing the snooze because work is ahead for us in the morning, so I have to bid you all now a fine adieu. On behalf of the entire AEW crew, we thank you once again for engaging with us as always. And until next time, take a positive path in life and have a good night, for we are ATW, and we will always pay respect and look into all things wrestling. Have a good night, folks.
Have a good night, peeps.